So the Order of the Knights Hospitalar it arose when people associated with an Amalfitin hospital in the Meriston district of Jerusalem, which had been dedicated to St. John the Baptist and founded around 1023 by Blessed Gerard Dom, were providing care to the sick people, Basically, they took advantage of women in their history. They amassed riches. They did raids on Muslim pirate ships. First, they were paid, tributes to protect the coast, from Muslim invaders to Barbary pirates, etc. Then they started to raid Muslim ships for money, to get more money. And when Europe heard of this, and they heard that they were raiding some Christian ships as well, they stopped giving them as much tributes. And France and Spain were still giving them the majority of the tributes. And eventually, they started taking advantage of the native women. They had money, and they were, having parties and blah, blah, blah. To make a long story short, in 1799, a Russian Tsar, Paul, or Emperor Paul, became the Grand Master. And also, a long time ago, they had defended Malta from the Ottoman army. 40,000 Ottomans, invaded. They were vastly outnumbered. They kept getting reinforcements. The Ottoman officer was killed, and there was some incompetent officers left in charge, and they weren't able to take the island. And, to make a long story short, well, let me read what English Wikipedia has written about it, because it's important that you understand. Following the end of World War II and taking advantage of the lack of state orders in the Italian Republic, an Italian called himself a Polish prince and did a brisk trade in Maltese crosses, the Grand Prior of the fictitious Grand Priory of Podolia, until successfully prosecuted for fraud. Another fraud claimed to be the Grand Prior of the Holy Trinity of Villeneuve, but gave up after a police visit, although the organization resurfaced in Malta in 1975, and then by 1978 in the USA, where it still continues. It's funny to hear Masons talking about their Templars, and they have Templar degree, and the Knights of Malta order, and we'll get to that. The large passage fee collected by the American Association of SMOM in the early 1950s may well have tempted a man named Charles Pichil to create his own sovereign order of St. John of Jerusalem Knights Hospitalar in 1956. Pichil avoided the problems of being an imitation of SMOM by giving his organization a mythical history, claiming that the American organization he led had been founded with the Russian tradition of the Knights Hospitalar in 1908, a spurious claim, but which nevertheless misled many, including some academics. In truth, the foundation of his organization had no connection to the Russian tradition of the Knights Hospitalar. Once created, the attraction of Russian nobles into membership of Pichil's order lent some plausibility to his claims. These organizations have led to scores of other self-styled orders. Another self-styled order based in California gained a substantial following under leadership of the late Robert Formhals, who for some years and with the support of historical organizations such as the Augustin Society claimed to be a Polish prince of the Sangusko family. So you see there's these fraudulent orders, You have to realize that in the first place, these orders didn't exactly know what they were talking about. And then they resurface, It's the same thing with Masonry. Let me get this. Masonry basically it was like 909. There was this one king. He's supposed to be the first king of England. Let me get to his name. I gotta go. Okay. Well, I'm gonna touch on two things. I'm gonna end this video. I don't want to make it that long. Also, while I'm going through this, Wicca and the goddess movement is something you should look up. It's basically blasphemy. It's a woman's twist. You have a ignorant, blasphemous woman's feminist twist, and then you have a blasphemous white man's twist of religion. Okay, the Regius poem in 1425, okay, talks about the mythology of the history of the craft, etc. And that part of that mythology, where is this? It's like Authoron or something. I forgot his name. I'm trying to find it. This king of, feels like a king of England and the king of Wessex. Where the hell is this? I probably should have taken notes before I made this video instead of just jumping into it. You know, I was reading of this, you know, late last night, early this morning, and I'm trying to find you. Where the fuck is it? I'll get to the women part of Freemasonry too. I want to cover that, so I might go the whole 10 minutes. Especially if I can't find this motherfucker. It's starting to really piss me off. So yeah, the Grand Antiem Grand Lodge of England, Grand Lodge of Scotland, Grand Lodge of Ireland. Starting to really make. Yeah, okay, I think I might have to go down to the Regis poem. I think it was the Regis poem that made that claim. Or maybe I have to click that thing. Let's see. Damn it. Wasting my fucking time. Might have to go back there. I might have to put the name in the comments. I believe it was around 909. It was King Authoron or something. I'll correct it in the comments and possibly in the description if I find it before I upload it. Or no, I'll put it in the description. Anyway, I wasted like a minute looking for this shit, so let's just go to, let me click the Regis poem, actually. It should say it there. Come on, man. You're killing me here. Okay. They start with a prayer, the Regis poem, you know, they start with a prayer, invocation of God, or a general declaration, followed by a description of the 7 liberal arts: logic, grammar, rhetoric, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. Extolling geometry above the others. Oh, here we go. There follows a history of the craft and how it came from the British Isles, usually culminating in a general assembly of Masons during the reign of King Athelstan. Okay, now when I click on King Athelstan, it says he was the king of the Anglo-Saxons and the king of the English from 927 to 939. Okay, close enough, you know. I said 909, 939, or whatever. Okay, so it's important to note because modern historians regard him as the first king of England and one of the greatest Anglo-Saxon kings. He never married and was succeeded by his half-brother Edmund. Now let's go back to women in Freemasonry, because remember, you know, a lot of people confuse Masons with conservatives. There are conservatives. They conserve tradition and ritual, but they push, in the Regis poem, they push the 7 liberal arts, which includes rhetoric. Rhetoric. You know, I'm going to define rhetoric for you according to, if I have time. Let me just read this. I don't think I have time. Basically, you know what it is. It's propaganda. It's, you know, anyway. The status of women in the old guilds and corporations of medieval Masons remains uncertain. The principle of femme sole allowed a widow to continue the trade of her husband, but its application had wide local variations ranging from full membership of a trade body to limited trade by reputation to approved members of the body. In Masonry, the small available evidence points to the less empowered end of the scale. At the dawn of the Grand Lodge era during the 1720s, James Anderson composed the first printed constitution of Freemasons, the basis for most subsequent constitutions, which specifically excluded women from Freemasonry. As Freemasonry spread, continental Masons began to include their ladies in lodges of adoption, which worked 3 degrees with the same names as the men's but different content. The French officially banned the experiment in the early 19th century. Later organizations with a similar aim emerged in the United States but distinguished the names of the degrees from those of male Masonry. Maria Derrisums was initiated in Freemason in 1882, then resigned to allow her lodge to rejoin the Grand Lodge. Okay, I'm out of time. I'm going to put, you know, the rest of this is important in the comments. Thank you.